I am getting a real custom grown-up website for the first time since I've been in business for almost 5 years. And while I am so excited, I'm pretty dang proud that I built a $500,000 business a year off a $1,000 website template. It has been beautiful and served me so well. It's from my friends Jen and Jeff over at Tonic Site Shop, but specifically in this video, what I wanted to show you is kind of a behind the scenes how I did it. You're gonna hear about the kind of things as a conversion copywriter I look for in both a website template for myself, my own business, but also the kind of things and recommendations that we make to our clients and our students who are looking for their own website design template to implement. Well, let's do it. Hey there, I'm Ashlyn Carter, a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs. And I know I've said it in recent videos, but I'm gonna say it again. Copy dictates the design or the messaging hierarchy and not the other way around. The design of the website doesn't come first and then you look at what little copy snippets need to be written and you just write to fill in those. It's the reverse of that needs to actually happen. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and say I love custom work. Those of you who do it, I do it myself. We have an agency side of my business. I love it. But even with copywriting, I always tell people I don't particularly want you to spend a whole chunk of change on custom copywriting if you haven't been in business for about 3 years. There's something to being able to go out there and test and validate your ideas, product market fit, trying to figure out and get your lay of the land before you turn around and pour a chunk of change into a one-on-one service. I say it all the time about copywriting. Now I'm saying it about design, but at least for me, somebody who doesn't consider herself a great designer, I always say, I think I have an eye, but I have a really difficult time actually making that translate. I was the kid in college who loved art history class, but not necessarily an art studio class. That wasn't for me. But here is why I am so pro website design templates, and there are so many out there. I'm gonna shout out today a few of the ones that have either worked with us on some projects or been students of mine. There are so many gorgeous design templates out there where you can get that look and feel that you're going for with a custom design at a fraction of the price, and you're also able to kind of put your money towards product development and figuring out some other things before going all in on a custom website design. Hit like if you're like me and love thinking about and dreaming about website design. It is so beautiful. It is a very fun part of the gig. Also, while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it if you want to be in on the fam and get to know when these videos drop every single week. All right, that said, here are my 5 secrets to choosing the best website design template for you and your creative small business. Number 1, before you specifically go out there and choose the template, think back a step and think about the platform. Choose a platform that you can either learn enough to be dangerous in or be able to move sections around in. Naturally, here's what's gonna happen. At some point after the copy is written and the message is organized, that is going to buck up against the design that's already laid out there in the template. And for good reason. The designer, the professional designer, is made this as a template, right? It's for multiple different types of businesses to use. So make sure that you can learn the language. And here's the beauty about templates these days. You don't have to know code. If you remember code from your X Page and Angel Fire days in the early 2000s, late 90s, then good for you, but you don't need that. This is why my 2 favorites over the years, again, from both building my business and then helping clients install their copy, my favorites and the things I see tend to be the easiest are Showit and Squarespace. So before you look for a template, go try out trials on the platforms you're interested in and see if you can learn the interface of it, because what this happens to do with when you're picking the template is you're going to need to rearrange canvases. Maybe you're going to need to duplicate them or stack them differently. However you're going to want to organize that, because remember, you've got the message, now you're just trying to plug this in to the template. That's going to look a little bit differently than maybe the template is coming right out of the box. So you need to be able to arrange those and not feel too fish out of water.
Designed website template, that professional designer is giving us type styles and treatments and layouts that we probably would not have come up with, and that is a really good thing. But why I'm so passionate with copywriting for creative students and with our clients is getting that message organized the right way. And I love designers and we'll sing their praises all day, but sometimes that is a copywriting understanding because you're crafting the message first. It just comes first, even though once they get to the website, it's the design that hits them first in the copy. Do you see how it flips a little bit there? But what I wanted to show you here is specifically, I'm going to pull you beside behind Show It. Squarespace is very similar to this. Like I said, those are the two that I'm going to recommend that function really well in this way without you having to learn a ton of code. I know there's things like Wix and stuff out there, but for my demographic, my market that I work with, creatives, I tend to pick those two. So what we can see here are these layouts. I love this beautiful template. I actually think the hero is not too shabby, but there's going to be different elements. So these, like this black section is a certain canvas, and we'll be able to move these around. I'm going to show you how that works. But what needs to happen is these need to be in a certain order to coach the reader through the website. That's why you're going to write your copy first, and then you're going to pull that over. Let's just go ahead and pull you over here. I'm going to take you just to this sales page for copywriting for creatives. So let's pull to a little part like this. So these different sections of the wireframe I know are in here for certain reasons. They coach different parts of the message on the sales page. So I'm going to need to be able to move them up and down based on where they go in the layout. So if I need, I'm going to be able to drag and drop and move things around. I'm going to have to definitely not publish that because I want to remember exactly where it goes. Maybe this proof bar needs to go up higher on the website, so on and so forth. And maybe in the template, they've set it up lower. And somebody like me is going to tell you to put it up higher, or on certain pages, it's going to come in at certain points during the sales argument that we're making. So that's why I really recommend getting in where you know enough to be dangerous so you can hack it and pull things around and move them. I promise if I can do it, you can do it. But it is just great to be able to do that as well. You have to remember too that these designers are creating all of these incredibly beautiful templates for multiple people. So that does make sense. They're going to make the template as useful as possible to the max amount of people that they can with their designs. But we have to go in there and argue for our business and make it work best for us.
Go ahead and comment below, what have you used to build your website in? Was it something simple like I went for with a Show It or a Squarespace, or are you one of those techie developers? Tip number 2, and this is kind of a hard one, but look past the brand photos and imagery that is used within the templates as you're shopping around. My goodness, it is so easy to get distracted with this. I want to highlight, like I said, a few people that are we've worked with on client projects before, that we have installed client and student copy in, specifically Jeff and Jen at Tonic, Davey and Krista at Davey and Krista, and Angela at Saffron Avenue. On the Squarespace side, Paige has done a great job creating templates there. I'll link all of them below. But I'm going to pull up a couple of examples here and scroll through for you to see. They're so beautiful, and a lot of what adds to the beauty is the incredible photography that they're spotlighting.
Point out, I'm going to walk through right now. So I'm going to start here with the one that I have built my website on, the one that I mentioned at the top of this video. So this is Tonic, and I just went ahead and came over to the Shop the Collection tab. These websites are built on Show It, the platform. I think I mentioned that earlier, but specifically what I wanted to show you is how hard it is sometimes to kind of remove yourself from the images and the colors and just see the template build out for the wireframe that it is, that they've already designed. They're going to give you an incredible head start on imagery ideas, like, okay, a headshot looks like it would work good here in a brand color palette if you don't have one of those yet, type styles that play well together. So that's always good to know too. Again, people, if you're like I said, I like this kind of thing, but sometimes I'm really, really not great at putting it together myself. So I'm going to flip through a few of these. They also have these best sellers. I would, while these are great to look at, I would be careful because I will say that I saw mine a lot. I picked one that ended up being a bestseller, but they are still good to look at. So let's see, we can start to see too, get a feel for the type of imagery, like see how this plays off better right here with a flat lay behind it, whereas portraiture works better over here because we're actually able to see the full bleed photos. I'm going to click through a few more of these. And it's already, my eyes already draw to like this because that's so pretty, but that picture could be completely different on your website. Let's look at, actually, this is a great, I feel like, one to start with. See if we can pull this up and flip through a little bit. You can do so much with this one. So this, to me, this is a great example of one that's pretty easy to look past the beautiful, stunning images that are there and start to just see the design framework for itself. So we can click through and see a little bit more. They should have an option to, view a demo site. I would definitely recommend doing that as well. We can see some full screenshots here. So you can see the frameworks a little bit more. This is what a blog page looks like. So that's what you're really looking at here, is more of the wireframing of the page. And then to get that head start on imagery. Next, I'm going to hop over to Davey and Krista. They are incredible, and their websites, they've got a lot of different types. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, but I want you to be looking for the same type of thing. So here it is. So easy to get attracted to the images first, but we can click through and see a couple of ideas that you can do with each of those. So pretty. And the last one that I want to come to is Angela at Saffron Avenue. And this is one that I want you to look at her. Let's see, let's click over on websites and templates. Okay, same kind of thing. So look at how much you can play. You can understand here. Obviously that image is freaking gorgeous. And then the black and white ones here. But what is so good about working with a professional designer's template is I would have never thought to do 3 black and white images there, a really strong focal point here, and then I like the split half design. Maybe my color is more beige and I don't have images like this, but I have other ones that I can tint black and white. That's the kind of stuff that you just can't come up with yourself sometimes. How killer this headshot is right here. So good. And honestly, it's arresting in black and white, but you may want to play with that. Those are the kind of things that I want you to be looking out for when you do this.
Don't let the photos that are not of you sell you on the template. You need to be looking at how that designer has orchestrated and laid out different elements. But that brings up part 2 of what I was going to say here. I personally believe in investing in brand photography before investing in custom website design. The brand photography is going to get you farther. I did a video where I'll bring you behind the scenes of how I did a brand photo shoot with my photographer Abby, but this is something that I did early on for a trade in my business. So I would trade a couple of pages of website copy with a photographer who came into my office and would shoot. On your shot list, really making sure not only you have those headshots of you, but you want people to know what it's like to kind of step into your office, so to speak. Even if you don't have an all put together office, they need to understand the concept of what it is like to work with you, and you cannot illustrate that any more clearly or quickly, honestly, than with a photo. Copy is not going to win on that game. The photo is going to get the information across so much quicker. There are great stock imagery assets out there. Shay, one of my friends, is behind Social Squares. I'll link them as a resource below. But that first website I had before I bought my template, when I built it all myself on Squarespace, I used as the hero image a photo that I paid $70 for. It was huge, and I cut and cropped it. If there was any way to get an image out of that, I was going to do it. I was going to get my money's worth. I used that image so long. Tip number 3, as you're template shopping, consider one that isn't too far outside of the realm of your industry and how people are already accustomed to looking at websites. So Google did a study of about 119 screenshots and found that a low visual complexity, aka very clear and simple, not cluttered, and high familiarity, which means people are comfortable with that, they've seen something like it before, those tend to be, surprise, surprise, what people like the most. We see this. I mean, I'm no neuroscientist, but we know that our brains are lazy and we tend to like the familiar. We like our social media websites to look and feel like social media websites. We like our news websites to look and feel like news websites. So how we can interpret this when you're shopping for templates is don't think too outside the box when it comes to looking for a template for someone in your realm, because they are comparing and contrasting you to other brands and products or services that they're scoping out. You want them to feel comfortable on your website. Like, they are in charge, they can find their way around, don't want to confuse them. I know we love to be unique, especially as creatives, but this is just something worth considering, and then you can bring in those fun, surprise, and delight elements along the way. Let me show you an example of how Krista and Davey have their websites organized that makes this shopping experience fun, I think.
It's a great tool is to look at this. Now remember, I would use it with a grain of thumb, the same as I would look at the best sellers on some of these websites, and just be careful because you want to walk that fine line of letting your audience be comfortable in your website because they feel like they've been there before, but you also want to bring them a level of like it's like they've never experienced it quite like this before with you. So let's look over here. What I like, move my face a little bit. We can see that we can browse by industry. No, really move my face. Okay, I'm going to click over here on, let's like shop. If you're specifically e-commerce, we can see some examples of those. I would definitely say e-commerce falls into the category that people like it to feel like it doesn't have to feel like a Shopify website, but they want it to feel like there's the different product shots, the offer shots, and then the product description and the price, the call to action to click and learn more. These are the things that they're going to be looking for that simplify the shopping experience for them. If you are a wedding planner, then there's going to be certain pieces as somebody shops through that they're going to be looking for. And they pulled some examples of people that are wedding planners that have used their websites before and how that layout may could look for you. So that is a great feature that is on JV and Krista's template shop specifically. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I think it's great.
Tip number 4, I would likely trim the navigation. Sometimes, not all the time, but there tends to be navigation in templates that are a little bit tricked out. So they've got a lot going on, and like I've talked about in other videos, you want to simplify that navigation on the top as much as possible. So this may mean you need to fandangle what they have already installed and make it work for you. If the designer hasn't already put someplace in this above the fold area of the website design template a place for you to put your value prop, you're gonna need to add that in. Whether it is included in part of your logo or you need to put some headline copy or sub-headline copy in, you're gonna have to get that across, and that may involve tweaking the template a little bit.
Tonic and Jen and Jeff here, because I don't even know at this point how many websites my agency, the copywriting business I have, and their business have worked together on. So we have come into this, the crux of kind of going back and forth on this so many times. So I think what I'm looking for specifically, and what I want to tell you here are some of the things that I would tell my copywriting for creative students to shift up on the templates that they're working with. So we are getting enough to be dangerous, a pretty dang good, beautiful template. So here's one I can already tell you I would change. I don't see right now, let's see. So one little change on here, I don't know if you can see this gin and tonic. Great drink. There's one of these menu buttons. I'm not going to click just to save us some time, but it says home. I would pull off home. There's no reason. I really think people are trained to click on the logo and see if you can flesh that out. I would also move over to this farthest right-hand corner. I would probably make that button pop a little more with some color and make it actually look like a button. Up here, I would pull the social media off of here. That's way too much going on at the top nav, and just pull that down a little bit. This is actually pretty good. There's a lot of call to actions, whereas this rectangle feature, or what is that, the square? I don't know. Feature is great, but we have a lot to click on right here, so we just need to simplify things. So I would actually probably, if this were my template or if this were a student, I would say, let's pull this off. You can duplicate this canvas just like it is and use that beautiful menu right there on the side for something else. But at the hero on your website, right when they land there, I want it to be unbelievably simple what you want them to do next. The last one I'll talk about a little bit is this. I have no problem with no hero copy or call to action. I tell students this all the time, but one thing that I need to understand, if you're going to do that, got to sell me on the idea, but I need to understand when I go here what you do and who you do it for, and communicating that without words is a challenge. So whether it is below, like if you look at the logo on my homepage, I say copywriting for creatives because that's the service, the offer that we provide. So you can very clearly tell what we do. But there's nothing really here. So I don't know if this is a floral design company, a bed and breakfast, there's so many different things that this could be. So I hope that gives you a little idea of the things that I'm looking for when I go into and work with students or clients on templates. Again, there's no question I would want to start off with something like this rather than DIYing it, but there's just going to be a little conversion techniques and twists that we need to add in to make sure that it's actually simplified and going to direct customers to what we want them to do next.
Which brings me to step number 5. Absolutely book a one-on-one call session with the designer if at all possible. This is why I found Tonic Site Shop so helpful when I was picking out a design template, because I could take my best stab and go in there and install it as good as I possibly could, and then hop on a 1 hour just a splash session and let them come in and fix and clean up all my mistakes. There were plenty, but I at least got that first stab and saved so much money along the way. Now you know some of my best tips to picking out a website website design template as you build your business, but what about the copy that's actually being installed there? I'm at it again with my free masterclass, 3 secrets to writing personality-packed copy that stands out and sells. Simply head to awcopyclass.com or look down below and grab the link to reserve your seat. If you like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing, and comment below if there's any questions you have. Like I said, I wanted to be an open book in this one and just tell you about what my process looked like. It was messy along the way at times, but I figured it out. You can absolutely do it too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.